tried to film this so many times, but I just don't know how to explain my life situation right now. But basically this vlog is going to be a little bit of a farewell to Manchester vlog, because my partner and I, we've been traveling for the last 6 months from Australia and we are moving on now. My beautiful family we were house sitting for have come home now, so we're going to spend 1 more week with them and then we're going to go back to one of my favorite cities in the whole world. Life's pretty crazy, so I just want to say thank you for watching my videos so far, and I'm really excited when I get a bit more of a permanent place to make more wellness and lifestyle oriented content that I feel passionate about. Right now it's definitely more so the travel stuff, because that's just my life. That's like what I'm doing. I'm not really in any kind of routine at the moment. Yeah, thanks for like bearing with me on the random videos, but I want to try stay consistent. So I was like, I'm gonna film this week anyway, whatever happens happens. And I hope you enjoy just hanging out with me. I need to figure out which books I'm bringing with me on my next little journey, and I've been shamelessly collecting physical books. I have no right to be doing that because I have no space in my bag and I have a Kindle. Like, what is the matter with me? I am looking at, you know what, this is my stack. So I basically need to figure out like my winter reading list, books that I want to read over the next couple of months. Oh, I'm like out of breath. AirPods, lip liner. That's what I'm wearing right now. I really like the one from, I'm trying to like read it and there's nothing there. I know this is Rare Beauty though, and I really love the Rare Beauty lip liners. They like glide on your lips, it's so good. And my Kindle. Oh, go in. Okay, I think we have, that was so awkward. I don't know how to start these clips. Okay, I think I have a little bit of a TBR for December and January sorted out. I have 5 physical books here, and then I have 2 Kindle books that are kind of on my radar as well. First up, we have Rouge by none other than Mona Awad. I have spoken about Mona on this channel before because I read Bunny on this channel in my last reading vlog, and it was a 5-star read for me. I loved it, so I'm really excited to get to her backlist. I picked up this copy in Edinburgh because I just loved the sprayed edges, and it's such a gorgeous copy, like even just the inserts in the beginning. Oh! Well, you must go here. It was a really cute store. From what I understand, this book follows a mother-daughter relationship. I think her mother has passed away and she's kind of wondering what happened. That leads her to a cult that is within a spa. And I think the whole book is kind of like a exploration of the cult-like nature of the beauty industry and the darker side of the beauty industry, which I think is very topical for the age that we live in. And I'm excited for this commentary. Next up, I have 3 translated fiction books. I have been really wanting to get into more translated fiction and just literature from other countries. The first one is translated from French. It's by Jacqueline Hartman. It is I Who Have Never Known Men, which you may have heard of. It's a dystopian novel and it follows a young woman. She is imprisoned in a cage with a group of women underground with very little knowledge of the world above, and I think we follow her, maybe her escape. It says, watched over by guards, these women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only vague recollections of their lives before. I don't know, that really intrigued me. I'm really excited for this one, and I love a good dystopian book as well, so I Have Never Known Men. I've just moved upstairs because my family's come home and it's just absolute chaos downstairs. So we're going to continue the video from up here. Next up we have The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This one's translated from Korean, and it follows a young woman who basically tells her husband that she doesn't want to eat meat anymore, and then she kind of deals with the repercussions. I think that vegetarianism in this book is more of a vessel to explore darker themes, like a metaphor for many other things. I think this book goes way beyond the surface level decision that she makes in this story. But I will say this piqued my interest because I don't eat meat either. If you are a vegetarian, or even if you just have a diet that's like not considered the norm, you always come up against like a brace of people and people having opinions on your way of life, and it can be quite enraging and quite aggravating. And obviously I think this is kind of her spiral into insanity. But yeah, I don't think that is what this book is about. I think it's just more of a vessel in which the author will communicate like the themes and ideas in this book. And I absolutely love an unhinged female main character. I mean, if you couldn't already tell by like the books I'm choosing to read, I think I'm gonna eat this one up, literally. Next, we have a Japanese book. This is Strange Weather in Tokyo by Hiromi Kawakami. I have heard mixed reviews about this one. This is about a woman who strikes up a relationship with her former teacher. The content in this book, I think, is quite controversial. I'm going in with an open mind, but I am interested to see how I feel about that story. It seems like more of a character study than a really crazy plot-driven book. I think this will be quite a cozy and comforting read, despite the kind of, you know, yeah. And regardless, I just want to pick up a Kawakami, so I'm going to start with this one. It's short and sweet. The last physical book I have is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I'm reading this one with my mum, actually. This is our little book club book for the end of the year, and she's already halfway through, and she said she's just been giggling. This one's about a bank robber who holds a group of people hostage. They're all anxious people, and I think they figure out that they have more in common than they actually thought they do. And it's just another author that I've been dying to read, and I think this might be a good place to start. So Anxious People. That's all the physical books I'm gonna try to bring with me. I also have Intermezzo, which needs no introduction. I think we've all heard of Intermezzo, but this book is like a tome. It is so big. I do want to get to this in the new year, but I think what I might do is get it on my Kindle and then just have this as a bit of a trophy for reading it. For Kindle books, my book club girlies back in Australia are reading Song of Achilles for December, and I haven't read that one yet, and I think that that one's almost like a quintessential read for a reader, and I know that there's a lot of discussion about it, so it'll be really cool to read that finally. And then I also want to continue with the Throne of Glass series. I will talk a little bit more about that later on because I'm reading one at the moment, but that's a series that I'm kind of going to try to like hammer out in the beginning of next year, because again, that's another one that I feel like you just want to be in the know, you know, everyone's read it, I gotta know what's up. This is my winter TBR, my winter reading list. I hope that you found some nice recommendations here, or there's any that piqued your interest. So yeah, happy reading, and we'll continue on with the video now. I'm gonna go try to fit these in my bag. Hi guys, I've just had an emotional breakdown and then I popped my spot. It's been a really tough week. It's testing my resilience that quite frankly I don't have, so it's like kind of forcing me to build that resilience, and like that's gonna be amazing later in life, but at the moment I'm just very much in the weeds of it all. I actually had a really lovely day. We went into Manchester, as you saw. I got a haircut afterwards. There's like no better feeling than fresh hair. And I was like, I was like filming it for the vlog, and then this girl was like looking out the window at me, and it was really humbling. I get really sentimental about places, and I've left a lot of places over the last 6 months. Like, I get sentimental like leaving a hotel room. Like, it's really need to get under control. Every time I leave a place, I realize how much I took that place for granted. Like, I always leave a place and just think, I had no idea what I had right in front of me. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss this quirk and this little thing, and I didn't even make the most of this, and like, oh, now I'm leaving, I'm so sad. And every single time I vow to like go to a new place and make the absolute most of that place, and every time I kind of like forget about it. So I guess the lesson here in this rant is to look around where you are right now and notice the details that maybe you don't notice. Because if you were leaving tomorrow, you would notice all these details. It's just like, don't wait until you have to let it go to appreciate it. It's better to just appreciate and be grateful in the moment, you know, for a place, for a person. Sometimes we wait until it's too late to express these emotions, and yeah, just do it now. That's your reminder. That's my reminder for the future. I don't know if this will even go on. It's really like, it's scary being vulnerable, but like, if I'm gonna put my life online, like, let it be real, you know? Like, what is the point of faking it? No one will know, but I will know. Okay. Also, okay, wait. I want to end this on a positive note. Hang on. I got these biker boots the other day. My little sneakers are a bit wrecked, so I got the new shoes. And they're so fun. That's so disgusting that I was touching the bottom. I'll wash my hands, don't worry. Okay, bye. I don't know about this. This is the reality of life right now. Packing up our life for like the 500th time this year. And I did some work this morning, so I'm feeling much better than when I last spoke to you. I just get these waves of like homesickness and doubt, and I think that if you've ever made a big life change before, you'll know that like some days it feels like the best decision ever, and then some days you're like, what am I actually doing? I just kind of need those releases time to time to kind of just like recalibrate and yeah, get my feelings out. I'm a big crier, so that's what happened there. We're just gonna sit on the bedroom floor together and chat books. Firstly, a book I read recently, Magnolia Parks. I went into it, I don't know, I just wanted something light and fluffy and like rom-com-y because I'd read a few kind of more serious books, and it really was not that. This book is like Gossip Girl. It's London high society, friendship group, toxic relationships. But this book was so much more than that. I finished this book and I was like, wow, I actually kind of care about these characters and I want to know what happens to them, and they all feel really real. And it wasn't like the female and main character were like, that's it for the story, and then the side characters were super underdeveloped and annoying, because that is my pet peeve with romance books. They were actually like all pretty complex, and I feel like I want to learn about more of the side characters and their lives, and that's like amazing when this is a series that I can continue with. So I ended up rating this one, I think, a 4-star, which is really good. Over the next couple of months, I'll want to pick up Daisy Hates and the other books in the Magnolia Parks universe. I would recommend this, and also how gorgeous is this cover. I love it. Another book I read in November was for my November book club with my girlies in Australia, and we read Carmilla, and I was like, let's read a vampire book. This one predates Dracula by like, oh, I could be wrong, but I think it's something like 20 years or over 20 years. So it's like even more of an OG vampire book, and it is a sapphic romance. I don't know if I'd even call it a romance, but it follows a relationship between a young woman. She lives in the forest in...
Hi team. Subscribe.
He had sapphic novel and he was like, I'm coming in. Anyways, she lives with her dad and a few other people in this castle in Austria, and one night this accident happens outside in a horse and carriage, and they end up taking in someone who was injured in the accident, which happens to be Carmilla, who we then find out is a vampire. I rated this one, I think I landed on about a 3 star. I think also with novellas sometimes they can feel quite rushed because obviously it's like like not a lot of time to fit in a whole story, but it was really interesting for this book, which is only like just over 100 pages. I felt like it was quite slow paced and like it felt like not a lot was happening. I kind of wanted to see more of their relationship and their interactions before things kind of went into another act of the story. It was written in the 1870s, I believe, so the writing is obviously a lot different to what it is now, and I think it's just cool as a reader to read from different time periods. And yeah, I think if you want something that is very gothic, very atmospheric, a little bit spooky, this is perfect. And it's so short as well, so I wouldn't say that I don't recommend it, but yeah, it didn't quite hit for me. I'm reading Throne of Glass. I'm reading Crown of Midnight on my Kindle. This is the second one in the Throne of Glass series, and I'm just gonna keep going with that. I think these are kind of sitting around the 4-star range for me at the moment. I think they're like, I'm not obsessed, but I'm like 2 books in, so like I can't really be that obsessed, especially when the series is so long and I know how much changes over the course of the series. So I'm definitely sticking with it, and I've actually been really craving reading this recently. I think it's just such a great form of escapism, and I love the way that Sarah J. Maas creates fantasy worlds. So
and speaking of the unexpected,
my whole life